Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ron Wallace here with Ballin' Down South Sports Network. And tell you, I got a real good guest on this morning, early this morning. I can tell you, he is definitely a pretty good basketball player, no newcomer to basketball. He was back in the 90s, he was a Daphne standout. He went to the University of North Georgia. He was an assistant coach at East Hall High School over in Georgia, which they was a powerhouse back in the day. Former Foley High School head basketball coach, took Foley to a 6A Area 3 title. And just this past season, he went 29-5, overall 6-2 in Region 4, and became the 4A region champs here in the state of Alabama. Let me put you on with Williamson High School head boys basketball coach Shumbe Hunter. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing well, doing well. Good morning to you.
Well, Coach, I know it's early in the morning, but hey, we had to get you up early in the morning. I know we missed out yesterday with some technical difficulties, but that's all right. We worked it out. How you doing today? How's the family?
Doing well. Everybody's I guess we're kind of spoiled with these quarantine hours. I got my coffee in hand, so I'm trying to wake up a little bit for you. But everybody's good, man. Just trying to follow the guidelines and all the safety precautions in it and all that's been put in place. But it's a blessing to be able to to be with family, and everybody is of good health. Up until this point.
Well, Coach, I just read off your resume a little bit. I'm very sure you got a little bit more that you could talk about and expand on. Talk about your time at Daphne High School.
Oh man, you taking me back 20 some odd years ago. um, that was when I look back on it. Obviously, when you're in those type situations, you don't really pay attention much. But as I look back to that time frame, it was quite of an experience, and being able to have the teachings that I had from my coach Arthur Keller, and being able to watch the players that were a little bit older than I was growing up. Cedric Yeldon to be one, Quinn Higgins to be another, Terrence Williams, Danny Valerie, those type guys. Just speaking of Baldwin County players and talent. Also, across the water in Mobile, you had Antonio Lang and Angelo Hamilton, all those type guys. That was also good experiences and good. I would say good role models to kind of pattern things after. It allowed me to shape and mold my game as a player, as a person, and as a player. It I would say that me being an undersized player, especially these days, you got people playing point guard at 6'10", 6'11", almost 7 foot, and me being 5'9" on a good day. You know, Back then you had to be special, or you had to bring something to the table. I would say that I was someone that was able to shoot the ball really well, from various spots on the court. I was pretty quick because I was small, and just able to get around people and able to so that allowed me to create a lot of space, and just use what I had, at the particular time to be successful. So that run at Daphne from '92 to '96, it also taught me some leadership, and I appreciate my coaches, and I appreciate the community people for putting that on me at a young age, because it only molded me to be the leader that I am today. It was almost like pressure to step out there and just do it. Who cares at that particular time if you make a mistake? I mean, it won't be many, because you'll learn. I was thrown in to a starting point guard position at ninth grade, fresh out of middle school, and expected to make it work. And you don't know pressure back then. So really it didn't matter to me, because I didn't know how to be scared. I didn't know how to be nervous at that particular time. It was just like, go get it. So that helped me out a lot. When I look back over that I don't know if that hadn't happened, a lot of the leadership roles and a lot of the things I do in a leadership role would have happened.
Now you left high school, went to University of North Georgia, and after that you were at East High School in Georgia. Talk a little bit about North Georgia and then going into your assistant coaching job over at East Hall in Georgia.
Well, at the time it was called North Georgia College, NAIA school, a little bit smaller than it is today. Today, they changed the name because they moved up to Division II. So obviously those guidelines made them ante up on what the campus looked like, what the gym looked like. I mean, the arena looks. I mean, it's state of the art now. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing near what I played in my 4 years there. But again, that was an opportunity for me to be a leader, and I credit that to my coach Randy Dunn. He molded me in the same manner, a little bit brash, I would say, a little bit more tougher because it's obviously a different level. So he expected a little bit more out of me because I was a teenager growing into a man. So and I think the difference with going from high school to college was you could very well cross grown men.
Wow.
When you go to college. I mean, when I entered college at that time, that was back in '96. I played with and against 20, 25 to 30-year-old men, and some of those men they went to the army or to the military right out of high school. So when they're done, if they were athletes, I mean, they still had 4 years of eligibility. So they would come and play, and just the strength and knowing how to be strong. I think that was the difference. The not really focusing back then on the weight room, especially in the game of basketball. You quickly understood and knew what you had gotten into when you stepped on the college campus, because people were bigger, stronger, just as quick as you are, but might be a foot taller than you are. So that made it just that much harder. But it also made you grow up real quick. So being able to have that experience, went through those 4 years, had an opportunity to play some ball overseas, had some tryouts here and there. Real world kicked in because that's expensive if you don't have somebody, sponsoring you and marketing, putting you out there. I mean, that's a costly thing. So that kind of caught up with me. Life kind of caught up at that time after graduation, and I obviously went into the job force, and I had some ex teammates that used to stay on me about getting into coaching. Thought I'd be a good coach, and I didn't want to do that coming out of college because I have a family of educators, and I wanted to do something different. Youngest of 8, you know how that goes. I don't want to do what he did. I want to do something, I want to do something different. So I kind of fought that a little bit. Ended up getting into education, having the opportunity to coach and help out. And during that time, I was doing Parsons workouts in between time of just a regular job. But it allowed me to get in and really understand, I guess, what my purpose was, because that was easy to me, and ever since I've been hard at it. Moving to East Hall back in the late '90s, early 2000s. Man, they were something special to watch. So I had an opportunity to slide over to their school and be able to work under Joseph Dix Jr., who is a Alabama native. He actually grew up in Tuskegee, went to North Georgia, but he was exiting he was graduating in '96 when I came in '96. Actually, I met him on my recruiting trip up there, but he graduated as I was entering. And then he went on he was in education. Obviously, he's one of the ones that used to stay on me about getting into it. And he went in as an assistant at East Hall, and he stayed there as an assistant for 9 years, eventually took over won a state championship his first year as a head coach after they had won previous years when he was an assistant. So he did his years there, I want to say some 15 years there. Now he's at Collins Hill High School in Georgia. So he's still at it. Maybe one day I could. When I was at Foley, I was able to bring him down at a tournament, and I think you were there. I think
right.
I think Daphne came and they played in that tournament. That's when Deontay, I guess, was maybe a freshman.
Freshman, sophomore, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they played in it, but he was you would have crossed his path because I think you guys were at that game, or at the games. But that's kind of East Hall. It's almost a carbon copy of what we do on the basketball court. Obviously, I put wrinkles in it here and there, but if you're looking at us at Williamson, you're kind of looking at East Hall in a sense because the up and down, the 94 feet, pressure and the rotating in and out, that's a lot of where I learned that from, and I've learned it to be a pretty successful thing for us.
Well, Coach, I want you to touch real briefly, real quick. Your time at Foley, you were there. You took those guys to a 6A Area 3 title, and then we'll go right into where you are currently right now. Just talk a little bit about your time at Foley.
Foley was a unique situation. When I stepped in, first person I met on that campus as a player was a kid named Raphael Adams. Kid was 6'8" at the time, 300 pounds.
Wow.
Hadn't played a sport on the campus, but probably the most athletic at that size, very nimble on his feet. And my first year I met him, and I was able to step in the gym and watch him play, and I knew that he would be special. So I built a relationship with him, allowed him, made him understand that, hey, you're going to have to trim him down a little bit just for injury sake and just for health sake. And he bought into what I was selling to him, and he slimmed down, became one of the top players in the state. Went on to play a year junior college in Memphis, Tennessee. Came back and finished at Faulkner. Was able to win a state championship in the JUCO league here in the state of Alabama. Finished his career at Stillman. So and also played some time in Dominican Republic. So he was I know he was probably the marquee guy and the mark of my career at Foley. The last actually his second year or his senior year, we won the area his last year that we were there. So it's kind of a huge turnaround from that that year. My first year we went like 3-23, and then the next year, his senior year, we won the area, made it to the Sweet 16, and so that was the kind of the making of the career there. Ending there, we went 19 with a good group, and so that time there, it prepared me for stepping into Williamson. Now fast forward to Williamson. First year we obviously had to get these guys to buy in to what we were doing, because we were if I'm not mistaken, we were the third or fourth face they had seen year after year. So obviously there was not too much trust with what was going on coaching wise or staff wise, because they didn't know if I was there to stay or I was here for a second and was going to leave. So once we were able to build that relationship and instill that trust, I mean, the rest was history with what we were trying to do there. Went deep in the playoffs that year. Came down to a controversial call at Hillcrest. That in the sub region, kind of a heartbreaker in that sense. So we had something to build on going into the 1920 year. So I mean, and that's kind of where we are right now. And I don't know if you have questions on this or if you just want me to roll into.
No, I can tell you
Um,
this, man. Talk about some of those players that you got come back on your roster: Robert Woodyard, Jordan Bell, Justin Brown, guys like that. Talk about some of those guys and what you guys plan on doing this upcoming season.
well, first I want to say if health is very key when you're trying to do something again like we did this year. If we can stay healthy, that's the first thing. I think that we have a great chance of being really good again. Health, obviously. Let me back up. If we're allowed to play, that will that that's gonna be key. Then the next thing is gonna be staying healthy. Then the third thing will be just to remain focused because when you've like anybody and still dealing with kids, when you've accomplished what we've accomplished and you kind of look around and you say, okay, we have the same team coming back, you tend to relax and you tend to say, okay, nobody can beat us, or you kind of go in overconfident, but it's my job to make them understand in the way that I will make them understand that, nothing's guaranteed. Obviously, since we where we are right now, man, we were a week and a half away from not being able to play the state championship game.
Wow.
So you never know what might happen. You never know what it could be. So just remaining focused and keeping them hungry, and knowing that again anything could happen, and you take advantage of your opportunities, and good things will happen if you do it that way.
Now, the state has brought down guidelines dealing with the pandemic. What have you guys over at Williamson High School? What have you guys set in motion bringing your players back?
Well, right now, we're kind of just still kind of fine tuning and tweaking our plan. When we looked at it as a staff, we looked at it and we said this: the month of June was typically for competition, and we were, in the month of June, we were trying to play as many games as possible. But when they took that away from us and we weren't able to, we had to sit back and say, okay, what would piece into this puzzle just as if we were able to play in the month of June. So what we said and what we thought that would be best is if our guys that played AAU ball or travel ball, it would be best that they in the month of June got with their team who has started playing at this particular time and just play as much basketball as possible, and kind of mimic what we would have done. Now, obviously, we won't be around as far as the coaches go,
Right.
but the same amount of play can be done with doing the AAU route. And also, it puts some responsibility on them. It's put some accountability on them. And my expectation is that, okay, you're state champions now, and you know what it to get there. So does coach have to be over your shoulder when you know
Right.
what you need to be doing and you have the opportunity to do it? So this is kind of a double edge, and it kind of hits two things at once. You still get a chance to play. Coach is not watching you, and coach is not the one instructing it, but the opportunity is there. So you need to have some discipline to get to where you need to get, and do the things that you need to do to get the same things. And I've told them that they need to hold each other accountable in that sense. Because obviously Jordan Bell is a returning leader, Justin Brown is a returning leader, Clifton Grandison is a returning leader. So I expect them to step up and say, hey guys, we need to go here, we need to be there, or check on your teammates, or do what you need to do to make sure everybody is clicking in the way they're supposed to be clicking. After the month of June, hopefully we'll get some more updates, and it opens up a little bit more and the restrictions are pulled. And when that does, we will go into the form of what we've always done. The intense individual workouts that we'll start getting in the weight room, because we didn't really touch a weight or do any conditioning in the month of June. So I looked at it like I don't I, I don't want to start them doing that a month earlier and burn them out. Then I won't be able to find them in July. So I need to, we need to put this into play as as like it's nothing different. And that's kind of the way we wanted to design it with our kids. And everybody's going to be different, but when you know your kids, you know what makes them go. You know what's going to be the most successful in any given situation.
Well, hopefully they come back, once you get them back, hopefully they in shape. They've been doing what they need to do, to stay in shape when you get them back in the gym. But Coach, I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and let you get ready to get off here. If you could tell any kid that it's their senior year in high school, and I ask these coaches, a lot of coaches this when I bring them on, what would you tell that kid that's getting ready to leave high school and possibly go to play at the next level?
First, keep God first in your life. I would definitely tell them that. Without that, it's nothing. Keep those grades up. Make sure you get your education, because one day you will not have the ability that you have right now. So you're going to have to fall back on that. And then what I would say is listen to your coaches, and if they've saw things in you to get you on their campus, that listen to what they're saying, because they're trying to first make you a better person, make you the make sure you graduate with those academic requirements, and also they're trying to make you the best player that they can possibly make you. So those are the things that I really think that every kid should understand. That's God first, and everything that's underlying that with the direction of your coach. You need to truly follow those, because it's gonna help you out in life when you become a man, or when you become a young lady for that matter. And it's good stuff, and being able to have the opportunity to go to college.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Williamson High School boys varsity basketball head coach Shumbe Hunter. Thank you for coming on the network this morning, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.